which one is the real pandemic, man? The 5G or the viruses which we see now, or the blockchain or the artificial intelligence, according to you? Which one is the pandemic now?
Man, they're all crazy.
Yes.
If you're a Terminator fan, if you're a Terminator movie fan, I mean, I'm sure you're going crazy over this artificial intelligence hype that's going on, right?
Yes.
Everyone's talking about it, and everyone is spreading good information, really horrible information. You don't know where to go. And I feel always that a big part of the mandate that I have on my YouTube channel and in my content creation journey is the fact that I want to spread real information, credible information about this subject.
Yes.
Because, being in this business field, you see a lot of traffic, a lot of hype about blockchain, AI, especially those two words are extremely being abused.
Confused also.
Really being abused to the fullest,
Too much.
And to find valid information and credible is really necessary in this age. Because if you're a business guy and you go online and you hear about these things, you can't really tell, you can't really draw the line between what's just pure scam and what's really, the real deal.
Right.
And so to be a technical guy, that still works with the technical things, and to offer business advice to a lot of people, you get to be pretty credible when you talk about it. And I think this is the goal. You don't want to base your business or your initiatives, be it commercial or anything else, on pure, scam nonsense. You just want to make sure that you have real valid information before you start. The idea of blockchain.
Yeah.
Because when you look at blockchain, it's not just a technology. At this age, it's being treated as if we have an investment. Even though, when I do this in my lectures and my workshops, I keep telling people that blockchain is not just for you to buy and sell. Like everything you hear about, USDT, Bitcoin, Ethereum, everyone's treating like a methodology to make money now. But the reality is the tech was there to build this concept of decentralization. So the idea of decentralization is you as an individual having sovereignty over your data, over your money, your economical or your financial power, let's say. And I feel that it's so sad that people just focus on what is profitable now, other than what is really, really great, in terms of a technology that we're talking about for the long term, especially the idea of decentralization. We live in a world where you almost have no power over your data. Yes. So it's your data at the end of the day, but how come you don't have sovereignty over it? You have to take permission of those giants like Google, Microsoft, and Facebook in order to use your account online. And at the end of the day, they retain your full data. They can use it however they want. And they're mining, and there's a lot of exercises that these people can do in order to get to understand you better, but not for you, for them to actually milk you to make more money by showing you ads. Right. Most of these companies their business schemes revolve around data. And so blockchain for me, and this is a crazy segue that we made from the initial subject, is that you begin to have more power over the way more power over your digital footprint, let's say.
Right.
Yeah, whether we're talking about assets, digital assets like NFTs, whether we're talking about money, data as well. So this blockchain thing is this new revolutionary idea of having a decentralized way, of building a new age for the internet. And
I think this is very simple idea, which many people will not get it.
Of course.
I understand how NFT is working now.
Yeah.
Being an artist, for me and you also.
Of course.
From the artist background, we know that how difficult for us to take care of our copyrights.
Yeah,
especially
man.
What you do it.
It's hard. Especially if you work with musicians that deal with label companies, it's hard. They get really screwed big time in the contractual stuff. Right. And so to have that sort of power of you retaining the actual rights on your work, it's beautiful and it's magical. And it's not governed by a human entity that does that magic. It's actually governed by the machine. It's governed by the technology itself. So speaking about NFTs, just like what you said, it's non-fungible tokens.
Yes.
The idea of having a digital asset like a music, like a song or a graphic asset, exactly what you said, and being able to showcase to the world that I am the sole owner. The
That's
owner.
super, man.
It's crazy.
But in the beginning, it looks like any anybody is throwing out anything there.
Oh man,
$800,
don't get me started.
$2,000. Many people don't know about it. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's so much happening there.
Yeah, so we have places like OpenSea,
Mm.
which is basically a marketplace for NFTs. People can just sell and buy NFTs through that, application, web application, that marketplace online. And then because people think that they can make a lot of value in terms of fiat currency as of today,
Right.
down the line in the future, you got crazy people buying stuff now, people generating art, things that you can't even call art, to begin with, but they're online and they're within this NFT wave, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of news that you hear about, how people spend millions of dollars, trying to buy a small meme or something like that,
Yeah.
it's beyond believable.
I was like, how is this happening? And I'm like, I should start building I had a vision, like at least I have to sell these many paintings. Man, this is the time you have to sell now.
Oh yeah.
Don't wait for another 2 years or 3 years. This is the time.
Don't get me started on the amount of people that are reaching out currently in order to build their NFT projects.
Really?
Not actually the NFT, the art itself. I'm talking about platforms.
Other platforms.
Yes, a lot of people want to be in the middle.
Yes.
A lot of people want to.
Another game is.
Yeah, you know the drill. A lot of people want to also create marketplaces like OpenSea. They want to do things like CryptoKitties, if you remember that project as well. They want to do this mentable kind of thing, where you create dynamically more and more NFTs that are unique, and then you can monetize from those, just like CryptoKitties. So yeah, the wave is really huge. But the one thing that I want people to focus on is this core idea of having ownership over something in this digital world, which was not possible years ago. Which is really beautiful. Like back in the day, if you send something to somebody else, you basically have a copy.
Right.
But now you don't have a copy. You can literally remove that ownership from yourself and give it to somebody else.
Sometimes YouTube works like that.
Yeah, but YouTube doesn't. YouTube, in a sense, doesn't have this actual technology that facilitates ownership. Again, at the end of the day, YouTube is the sole owner of the content. Okay, it belongs to you because YouTube as a company says so. But in the end of the day, if YouTube goes bad, which is highly unlikely in this age because they're a company, you can probably lose the rights to your content. Nobody can know. The golden source lives within their systems. With blockchain and NFTs here and this idea, no human being is involved in this process. It's all the machine. So nobody can ever go bad. That's at least the premise of the idea. The machine protects your right to that asset. Because if we look into history, and history is a great trainer, by the way, a lot of people go bad, whether for commercial reasons or for political reasons as well. And so I would always go back to the machine, to the golden source. A lot of people disagree with me, but I feel that the machine has, let's say, better credibility when you compare to our fellow human beings, And this is why I also believe that AI is a great asset. Not probably in the way people, have an understanding of the technology as of today.
Yeah.
When people talk about AI, they associate it with the Terminator movie and how we're going to die, down the road when the machine takes over and everything. But what I'm trying to say here, it's we delegate more and more to the machine as we go, as human beings.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, nobody knew that we can delegate visionary, tasks to the machine. But now computer vision is really, really reliable. As of today, there are more and more stuff that are being handed to the machine, as I say. And so this leaves us with little to no, items on our table. And this is really making it difficult for humans to swallow.
Right.
Because this can take us on another, tangent as well here, which is the idea of work.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to work not because they want to make money, because they want to have an actual meaning of their life.
Right.
And so with the machine coming in now in this playing field, it takes more and more of what makes you a human being, at least for now. And you're rendered useless.
Time for yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the thing. This is what I see. This is, for me, the beautiful thing about AI.
Yeah.
It's gonna take those tedious stuff, and it's gonna allow you to focus on what matters most to you. So we have to see it from that angle.
Yes.
But also it has a lot of economical ramifications, if we're being honest. But the idea is, if you delegate more, you're supposed to have more time for the stuff that really matters to you. Not a lot of people see it that way. A lot of people feel that, okay, my job is being taken from me from me. It's being
End
handed
of
over.
the world and everything
End of the
is
world
going
and
to
everything.
change. We are going to die.
Oh,
Human beings are going to
it goes
be...
dark, you know. It goes dark from now.
we have to see alternative. What is the solution instead of getting into the...
Human evolution is something that is inevitable. It's
Yes.
never going to stop. If you look into history, we went through a lot of cycles as human beings.
Yes. Crazy.
And we're really, popular, let's say, for being, just survivors. And AI is not going to change it, at least to the extent that people think about. But it's going to change things big time in terms of how we perceive work, how we perceive money, for example. Automation is going to kill a lot of jobs, which is the downside. But on the bright side, you have more jobs coming in, You get to work with systems now. You get to really advance the stuff that you do. You don't have to physically work like before, which is beautiful. So everything has a bright side and a very dark side.
Right.
I would really wish if we can focus on the bright side, because the bright side is also beautiful. This means that we are going to have more sovereignty as human beings.
Right.
We're going to have more time to see our families, hopefully, be with our kids, not to actually do tedious things that don't really matter that much.
Man. Which is like a dream, man. Okay, so like I said in the beginning, which one is a pandemic, real pandemic? So another pandemics are, like you said, robots gonna be, future taking over, which is like you're making sense when you explained it to me. But there is increase in mental health problem.
Oh, don't get me started. No, seriously.
It's huge, any problem. And another one is people are like missing. The data of missing people is increasing in few years, in maybe decade now. I see these two things are going crazy now.
Yeah, especially the first one that you mentioned.
Yes.
For me personally, mental health it's so sad that it doesn't have a lot of rep, especially in Bahrain. I'm not sure if you ever encountered that, but when you see people really struggling with their mental health, we have a saying in Bahrain that's probably crazy. Yes. Crazy is the way to go word that you use in any case without examining people.
Right.
But the reality is the fabric of the social fabric is pretty complex. In order to be loved and respected and, to be a good father, a good husband, everything, you have to just juggle a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Not everyone has the capacity, the mental capacity to go over that. So it's very crazy that you're going to, I wouldn't say crazy. You're going to have a lot of struggles in your mental health. And people go through occasions which are really bad, some difficulties in their life. And so the idea of not recognizing that people go through these things is horrible for me. Just like when you need a physical doctor, let's say a doctor to you need to work on a thing that you have, maybe your leg or something like that, but also your feelings and what you go through mentally.
It's going to be huge.
You need a garage of some sort.
Counselors are going to be in a huge number.
Yeah,
this is what I predict, Yani, the way it is going.
Even with COVID, I think things are accelerating more and more. Because being home is staying alone for a very long time it was good for a lot of people, but it was also really horrible for a lot of people. People who are social, people who can't just live within the four walls that you're basically surrounded with. It becomes harder and harder every single day to stay a human being, to become a human being. And so I think with COVID, mental health has really went up the roof.
Artificial intelligence, man? Doesn't it have got an impact on mental health?
I think maybe if you look at it from the angle of jobs, yes. Because you see, with COVID, automation played a huge role.
Yes, it's killing the jobs.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I just asked my friend, you are talking about entrepreneurship and businessman.
That's
Do you know the difference? When I was studying entrepreneurship a few years back in my engineering college days, like entrepreneurship is defined mostly for people, someone who is very worried about people.
Yeah.
He wants to create jobs for others. Where is the job here, man? Where is this entrepreneurship gone?
It's not only that, brother. So, for example, entrepreneurship has taken its toll here in Bahrain. Yes. Okay, I love entrepreneurship. I think it's a great and a very noble concept. However, human nature by default always, and I'm not trying to be cynical here. I'm trying to give you at least what I call realistic, okay?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are abusing this concept of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Either by getting subsidies from the government as, short stick, then they exit as fast as they can, in order to cash out build things that don't really work, but have a really solid PR mechanism to get things to your uneducated investor. And then you just do that and that. And one of the very
I don't know the impact of that in our overall picture.
Yeah. I mean, it's
killing the economic of
big time. And I actually wrote about that a lot on my blog.
Really?
If you're, yeah. So there was an article called AI Hygiene or Business Hygiene. I forgot the name. It was done like 2 years ago or so. But it had a lot of traffic. And I was saying that the common way of doing things in Bahrain is that you have a very intense PR campaign for something that's pure empty.
Yeah.
And then you just trying to catch up for a couple of months, act like you had a better endeavor that you want to go and follow, and sell that thing to some uneducated investor, and you're good to go. And the key word here is have 3 things in your pitch. I have AI, blockchain, and IoT, and you're golden.
It's happening, right?
It's whole. I've seen it with my own eyes. I remember there were a couple of events in Bahrain prior to COVID. And you find somebody with an American, probably a British accent on stage.
Oh my God.
Just have those 3 words, We have blockchain integrated with AI, and we have IoT coming in from upstairs, And then all of a sudden, like, how much you want to sell that? I'm going to buy that without knowing exactly the gist of the project. I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm not lying.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty close to that. And the problem is, if you're not technical, or at least if you're not paired with a technical person, it's very easy for you to buy everything you hear. And these components, they don't really work, together in a homogeneous way. You gotta know what you're talking about and how to pair them up, how to integrate them. But for your regular Joe, for your regular uneducated investor, for them, these are dopamine words, Dopamine words that's like, this is going somewhere. Let me just get my hands on that for now. But yeah, entrepreneurship is abused big time.
Yes.
At least in this part of the world.
So, but coming back to your artificial because that's a lot, man.
People
are discussing a lot on that. Maybe there is a benefit we can discuss because what is the benefit of having artificial intelligence? Because I'll tell you one thing. Literacy rate of computers itself.
Yes.
So how to use computer itself was like 5, 10 in Middle East or the East, where I have seen. Even if the country is full of engineering colleges, in one state, if you count, it will be like 200. Imagine 30 states.
Yes.
Institutes there. Middle East, forget. I don't see any universities.
We're starting, but it's not that
inshallah,
big.
I hope it will work out.
Hoping so.
But if you see there, institutes there, but still, you won't believe, 10 years back, it was 6% computer.
Okay.
Now, I understand now because the mobile phone, but still I don't consider that as, something related to computer. But imagine now, comparing that with the artificial intelligence, how many people are literate on that area and how many people will understand that? Although it's very simple and easy to understand.
Not a lot of people appreciate how computation has a lot of impact on our lives. Like the simple use of Siri, for example. Google Assistant, Alexa, these beautiful things that we take for granted every single day. The amount of computation in magic under the hood for those things is beautiful. I work in machine learning. As you probably remember, I'm currently a Google developer expert in machine learning. When you understand how the machine works with that sort of complicated data, you begin to appreciate what's happening under the hood in a split second in order to understand your accent, the word that you're trying to say, the sentiment of the way you say things. For example, Amazon Web Services, and I'm not making an ad for them, but they have this cool project called Amazon Connect, which is this omni-channel sort of call center platform that they have on AWS. And it allows you to understand how your customer is feeling during the call. So you can dynamically reroute the call to somebody else, let's say more experienced. So imagine I call somebody and I feel that, you feel that the customer is getting agitated, in the call. He's not getting what he wants. This is going nowhere.
Wow.
Dynamically, you can set up threshold in order to reroute the call to, let's say, a much more experienced representative or the line manager himself directly. And you can do that dynamically because the machine now can understand your sentiment through your voice tone. I mean, how you go through things. I mean, if you're nervous of things, you're getting angry. It's beautiful how we can finally use such a technology to actual use cases that we.
That's awesome, man.
It's beautiful. Don't get me started.
Really?
Yeah, not just the voice. Like we have a product now. I tell this to a lot of people. that understands your facial gesture.
Yeah, this I have seen it.
Yes, with your face, and you know if you're happy, you're not happy for
It
putting.
tried on me and it said, you're not happy. So I was like,
Maybe
I'm tired, man.
It's maybe it's reaching out to your soul, you know, like a.
I'm walking here a whole, this is exhibition center here.
It's telling you what you don't want to hear. You know?
Yes.
No, but it's beautiful that we can get a very close match, you know, to what's happening. It might not be 100% accurate, but
Yes.
the level of accuracy is getting there by the day. And this opens up a plethora of user applications that you can use on a day-to-day usage.
Oh, I can understand that because even artist background, they know like how the facial expression works.
Of
They know
course.
the lightings, the emotions of lightings.
Yeah, it means a lot.
And the way you do the expressions.
Yes.
And we have seen all those things in our books also, even
Yes.
in the Quran.
Of course.
Talking about emotions. Imagine, yani, these things are all discussed. Only thing is it's going to be datized. I don't know what.
Everything's data-driven.
Digitalized and put it in the
Yeah.
system.
That's the problem. See, whenever you talk about artificial intelligence, you can never avoid discussing data
Yes.
because they go hand in hand.
Yes.
And so when you talk about data, you open up another can of worms.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, because companies are fighting over your data
Yes.
for their profit.
Yes.
Users don't know crap about how they manage their data. They have no sense of responsibility when it comes to their privacy. And don't get me started in this part of the world, where the common say is, I don't have anything to hide.
Yes.
Seriously? Privacy should be your right. You know, you should really give somebody the permission to use your data. But here we throw things around as if we're, you know, basically playing.
I knew it because I remember 5-6 years back when I organized events. Those days where like nobody knew how to sign up and everything.
Yeah.
Very few people know like they have to sign up and go for
Yeah,
some
yeah.
card and all those things. They never knew. They used to call. They're like, should I really do it? Yes, you have to do it. They're like, okay, I'm doing it. He's not asking this data is going to which place,
don't
what
give
is
us that.
happening.
I'm telling you, I work with clients, and this was crazy for me because, you know, in Bahrain, we're at least trying to follow up, you know, trying to chase whatever that the West is doing, especially within the UK. So we have Bahrain data protection law, which is pretty similar to GDPR, you know, in Europe. And so some of the applications that people build here have no respect for your data. You know, they're going to acquire as much as possible in terms of your data with no consequence, you know, without ramifications, without thinking about the ramifications of those things. And so I remember some of my clients, that, you know, when we built something for them, we told them that, look, you got to appreciate Bahrain data protection law and really comply, you know, with it if you want to build that kind of product because you're getting a lot of data. And I said, come on, it's just people would put that online all the time. Why would I care? It's like, this is a recipe for a disaster.
Yes.
Because it might not matter now, but down the road when something goes wrong, and it's definitely going to happen, people are going to come back to you. They're going to give you a really, really hard time because, you know, when you leak somebody's phone number, their address, maybe in this part of the world, not big, but on the outside, when you have, you know, when you get into trouble for sharing somebody's physical data, physical address, I mean, it's just big. So I think the culture here needs a lot of work, especially if we're talking about data and privacy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So people hoard data all the time. They get data and data, but they
It's
don't use
taking
it.
care of the memory stuff and efforts which is required.
Of course,
The whole thing is taken care by the machines. You know?
but that's the goal, you know. I feel like I'm an agent, you know, for the machine. By the way, this reminds me that this Matrix movie is gonna come in really soon.
Yeah.
The fourth one, you know. I've been
Really?
dying to see it.
They want to show something.
Yeah, have you seen the Matrix movie?
Yeah.
But have you really digested it, or you just
No.
went through the
just-
fights?
Just on the top of the.
No.
Things,
So-
yeah.
The Matrix movie is a beautiful piece.
They have thought 10 years or 20 years ahead of it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of philosophical meaning under it. So if you watch the movie more than once, you begin to figure out those nuances.
Yeah.
And I remember I actually had to buy a book about the Matrix the second
Really?
it was done because I wanted to get into the philosophy of it.
Interesting.
There were a lot of themes that were just, you know, obscure and really like not really that apparent and obvious. But when you get to read the book and you understand from the context, the script and everything, you begin to understand the ideas that the directors, you know, back then wanted to transmit to you. And there were things on religion. There were things on the social fabric, economy,
Wow.
It's a beautiful movie. It's really cool. And I think now I'm extremely ready for the fourth one. I've done my work. I've revised the whole thing and I'm ready to digest the fourth one.
I come from a creative background, man. I just see the graphics, man. The pages,
CGI,
the
yeah.
CGI.
Beautiful. How do they do that?
The colors. How could you? They were able to think so much, like 10 years ahead, and now they are thinking. Now technologies are coming out for that.
Yeah.
But still, they cannot match the level they have created.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes. So, who decides these guidelines, man?
Which guidelines are we talking about?
The tech ethical issues and
Okay.
Like you said, NFT customers are coming to you, asking you to create a platform now.
Yes.
So who is taking care of those ethical stuffs for them and the customers? And is it just a money thing there, or?
Look, whenever you have a new technology, such as, let's say, blockchain for now, it's a free-for-all at the very beginning.
Right.
Because governance does not exist. Like even with AI, when AI started, by the way, AI it's not new. On the contrary of what you heard, it was actually coined around the 50s.
Oh.
Yeah, and so we've spent almost 70 years now. Now the key difference is we have machine learning in its, in its final and let's say the most recent outfit, in its most recent shape, and it has a lot of successful impact, especially on business. This is why a lot of thunders are going against, basically machine learning at the stage. But it was available back then, by the way. Another conversation. But the idea is here, when things come in the very beginning, they don't get a lot of attention.
Right.
The second you have impact on governance, government, business, the social fabric as well, normally regulators come in and they build this framework that people can use, whether we're talking about business or governance. This happens a lot if we're talking about AI. Yeah. So for AI, especially here in the region, Bahrain does a lot of workshops on how to regulate AI. EDB,
it is happening, huh?
Yes, the Economic Development Board is very popular for doing sessions with local players such as us, for example, as Infiniteware, where we do actual commercial work, spanning AI, and they get our opinion as industrial leaders in this space, and they get academics as well. They get government bodies to put in their opinions as well on the table. And then by the end of it, they draft something really nice. So EDB, by the way, has a lot of literature on governing AI, if you want to seek it online. A lot of people will have...
But on what context they are building it, Yani? What is their context, Yani? Making sure the human species will not...
not to that extent. They look at it like EDB, for example, as a government body, focuses on the things that can really have a lot of impact on governance. For example, employment.
Okay.
Economy is a pretty big deal. So you have multiple themes, let's say multiple pillars, and you're trying to have multiple, groups trying to put their opinion from their own angle. As a business, I want to talk about what's right for me, what's really profitable, and then at the end of the spectrum, you have somebody else that really focuses on privacy, for example. So we're trying to strike this, cool balance between making money, for example, and at the same time, you want to make sure that you preserve the privacy of people. So the idea is when you have idea groups, this sort of focus groups talking with each other, and then you can have themes, and now their engineers or their officials start to draft things according to the way they see it. Now, on the other hand, you have tech companies. So Microsoft is pretty popular for building their own ethical framework as well, especially in machine learning, because machine learning is really notorious for having bad rep. Especially, like for example, if you build a machine learning based system that would go about choosing, your next hire. I mean, if you can dissect the system and understand how it works, would you apply it in production in real life? Now, this is a conversation that you might not agree with as an employee, for example.
Yes.
But
I have read one of the books, man, Principles.
Oh,
this guy, he killed it. He literally used for his companies. Yeah.
There's another similar book that goes by the name of Weapons of Math Destruction, not mass, math destruction. Okay. And it shows you exactly under the hood how these systems are being abused, let's say, in production environments, and people don't know about. But however, they have a lot of impact on your personal life.
Yes.
Imagine you go to prison, and then the system says that the chances of you coming back to prison are really huge. I mean, it's very easy for, let's say, an uneducated... The judge can basically say, don't let him go out. The system is saying he's very likely to go back in. And so that kind of thing, it's like...
It's more of heart or mind. That's a question now.
It
comes, there are things you can. I think you have also talked about intelligence,
Yes.
explaining intelligence stuff. Yani, the intelligence as a value. So
Yes.
when you say intelligence as a value, how much of it is from the mind
Yes.
or heart?
Yeah.
How do you know? So now machines.
Yeah.
Come on, it's mostly mind.
Look, it's very religious. Like, it's a very philosophical / religious topic, and not everyone
Yes.
enjoys discussing this
Yes.
because it touches your values, and not in a good
course.
way most of the
Yes.
time. Look, a lot of the pioneers in the AI space believe that computation is the key to having intelligence. One of the biggest companies is DeepMind. Now, DeepMind has a lot of impact, huge impact in the AI space. Nobody can deny it. In computer vision and robotics as well. You also have OpenAI as well. Now, those two companies really believe big time that the idea of intelligence goes back to the idea of computation. It's how much you can compute.
I see.
And so we're just computers that work in the biological space. So your mind spends around 25 watts, I believe.
Yeah.
25 watts as far as I know. But if you compare to the amount of wattage that you spend in a data center in order to match the same intelligence, you spend a lot of power. So the trick is to have the same computation, the same volume of computation, the same power, but with the minimum amount of, let's say, energy. The minimal amount of power to do that job. And I've seen it in action because every single day when you come up with a new machine learning model, a smart model, a model is basically a program. Think about it as a program or a recipe. Imagine I want to have the system that tells me that you are Kazi and I am Ameen, for example. This face detection, face recognition sort of thing. In order for it to be extremely accurate, it has to have a lot of power in order to crunch data.
Right.
And understand for itself, just like how we humans do this. Now, if you have a kid, the way you let them learn about the world is that you give them examples.
Right.
You know, you touch something hot, it's like, this is hot. And you adjust your model that anything that looks like that is bad for me.
Right.
And then you go on and on with that methodology, right? So it's the same case with the machine. The way machine learning works, which is unlike how people now perceive, it's not pure, it's not black magic. You know, it's just basically a lot of data being pushed in. If we're talking about deep learning, specifically deep learning,
Right.
and the machine learning algorithm adjusts itself in order to, tweak the model to get you from A to B. So from the input data that you have in order to predict all the way to the actual goal, the real data or the actual output or the prediction in that case. Now, what you're doing by feeding the data, you're basically adjusting the model, the machine, so it can take you to the right place. Now, if you think about it, in order to really enhance the machine, you have to have a lot of computation and a lot of data. This is where the people who are pioneers in this field, like OpenAI and DeepMind, they're big believers of those concepts because they can see in action the way it affects them with their products and services.
It's working, man.
It's working, but the funny thing is, a lot of people still don't believe that this is the most performant way to get to intelligence. Because, like, if you're a kid, if you're a small kid, okay, imagine you're just born, okay, and then you're into the world. You have the ability to understand visuals. You have the ability to understand sound.
Yeah.
You get to tweak your model along the way, but you have a lot of things figured out by default. Now, during my argument with one of the pioneers in the AI space in the MENA region, he said something pretty interesting for me. He said, "Don't forget that evolution paid the price, for you to get here." So you're standing on top of the, on the shoulders of giants, basically.
Yes.
You have, I don't know, maybe 3.4 billion years worth of evolution, or 13. I forgot the actual number, but there's a lot of work that has already been done for you, and you're standing on top of the pyramid, but you don't see the actual pyramid that you're on. And so, for me, as an AI researcher, as somebody that works in this field, I'm really tied to the idea that computation is the key to intelligence. Other people believe that, especially religious people, have this problem with the idea of intelligence because they believe intelligence is a mixture of your body traits and your soul as well. And this is where a lot of people have trouble with this concept of soul. I don't want to really share my opinions on the subject, but the idea is, if you believe that intelligence is within the space of something that is intangible, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, this really breaks the whole formula for AI. Because this means this pure and this special element is not within your hands. You can't recreate intelligence.
Yes.
which is hard to swallow for a researcher.
Yes, that's the only point where things stop, right?
Yeah, man.
So it's kind of like you have both science and faith together matching there.
Yeah,
A bit
yeah.
of faith is required, I believe.
I mean, to get by, yes. But look, I'm not going to get into religion here a lot, but the idea is a lot of what we exert as human beings in terms of behavior, in terms of intelligence, the values, the perks that we get, what we win, what we lose, it all depends on your mind, as you said, or physically the brain, the way it's created, the way it's basically set up. And so the argument that those people make is that, you are basically the physical aspect of your brain. There is nothing, other than that. The other camp is what we call dualism or dualists, people that believe that you are, as Kazi, you're composed of two things, your soul plus your body. Now, this is a very hot and intense subject,
Yes.
And I keep reading about it, but I don't want to formulate my own opinion. Normally, I'm still not there yet.
Yes, I have been going through all those things, yani. But
You have your fair share, huh?
yeah, I like those subjects also.
Yeah. Where did you get?
Philosophy,
Where did you get so far? Let me hear it.
But it's kind of, man, you if you're
It's very
discussing,
private,
it's dangerous also because nobody will get it so easily because
Of course.
someone has to really go through it and understand.
Yeah.
It's not just simple experience, but at the end it's dualism or unity. I don't know at the end what happens.
Yeah, it's hard.
At the end, you should be knowing your place, where your context is, and how you are connecting your life with. If that is there, more than enough for somebody to live the life.
Yeah, man. Life is it's difficult and mysterious, and I think part of the magic that it's mysterious.
It is.
What got me into AI personally is this idea of being able to recreate a human mind. Because like when you see somebody smart, you begin to really question yourself, what really makes them smart? Is it the physical characteristics of their brain? Do they have their genetic code is far superior than yourself, the one that you have, yourselves? How does it work? So trying to recreate intelligence is the best way to appreciate human body in creation in general, no matter what you believe.
Yes.
It's beautiful to recreate stuff like in machine learning. Working in computer vision is a very hard problem. It's a very difficult exercise because, I like Jordan Peterson. I'm not sure if you know Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson really says it in a very nice fashion. He says, vision is not just a computational problem. It's also, I wouldn't say religious, but it's also a context problem.
Yes.
Contextual issue. Like when you look at something, it's not just understanding the pixels next to you, but you want to connect it to a context of yours, or your past experience, something like that. So it's a far, let's say, it's more difficult than what it seems.
Yes.
And this is just vision, not speaking about complicated stuff. For example, my field in computer and machine learning is actually NLP, which is natural language processing, understanding language. And don't get me started on us humans. Humans are complicated.
Yes.
When you say the same phrase to somebody else with a different tone, you mean something different.
Yes.
And so how could we really bring that sort of idea, that understanding
Maybe
to the
clearing
machine?
the context itself.
Yeah,
What is
context.
your context? What is my context?
Your background, your experiences. This is why a lot of people get agitated when you tell them that he's something from the past, Like, are you soft? Why are you sensitive?
Yes.
It might not be that big of a deal in the context now, but if you don't understand their background, their history, maybe they have a past experience that is extremely hard on them, and then you touch that chord, all of a sudden, you get them into that specific era back then, and then they get to really, respond big time. And so NLP on its own, human language, is a complicated thing. In the machine, you have programming.
Yeah.
In programming, you got to stick to these strict rules in order to build a program. These rules can never go wrong because they are formal, they are very hard, and they're strict. Human language, on the other hand, is very flexible. This is why when you want to tell somebody something, you can formulate it in a number of ways. It wouldn't really matter. But your way determines your style. Now you can say stuff like what I do, and you can say the exact word, but your style has the bigger impact on the way you say things. And so this is why it's very likely for people to say things that they don't mean, or people respond in a different way because, the way you perceive those sentences might not be the same thing for other people. And so, look, we're just talking about NLP and computer vision, and we've already went through a lot of details, right?
Yes.
How do you bring that implementation to the machine? It's a complicated thing. It's a very mysterious and cool thing to be in.
Of course, man. Human, what do you call the era, whatever life they have lived, they themselves could not figure out their life.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Their
it's
stuff.
hard.
So imagine we are talking about AI and Mars and all these things.
All of a sudden, everything is happening in the 2000s, right?
It's strange, right?
What a time to live in, huh?
Yeah. Only thing I'm happy that like nobody's talking about biotechnology, which is like a bio weapon. It's happening, but it's like in the back of the mind. One day it will come out.
Look, you started. I'm gonna get in now. Remember when we were talking earlier about CRISPR?
Yeah.
Now, as a programmer, I also felt that CRISPR is the way to go for gene editing. Look, there's a lot of
bioinformatics. It comes under bioinformatics.
Yeah, it's a big field, as you probably. This is probably your field. You would know better. Yeah. But the idea for me is, when you look into genetic code, human genetic code, it feels like a program. You have a set of instructions that your body actually produces. Your proteins and everything, it just comes initially from the actual DNA code that you've got, right? Yes. And so to have that in here and to be able to actually change stuff in your DNA code is beyond crazy for me. So you can change the color of the eyes, you can change attitude, you can change behavior, you can give yourself better traits as a human being. Yes. And this opens again another can of worms, for other people.
It is dangerous, man.
Yes, but look,
it is happening though.
I love playing games, and there's a game that really renders that in the best way possible. Deus Ex, if you heard about that game, Deus Ex, Human Revolution.
I see.
It really tackles that subject of augmenting, humans with machines, being able to switch your eyes to something else, having better characteristics, better abilities. The kind of impact that it's going to have in terms of the ethical, conversation. Yes. What is the magnitude? It's.
We never know. In real life, Hulk might come out. We never know.
I honestly believe that gene editing is going to revolutionize stuff. It's going to revolutionize stuff. Maybe not in a good way all the time. Yes. But the idea that you can remove things and think about it in a positive way. The ability for you to take a disease.
Someone who is going through disease.
Yes, and we have a lot of people, especially here in Bahrain. Yes. I'm a carrier for thalassemia. Beta, for example.
I see.
It comes from my family. I'm not a patient. I don't have it really, but I'm a carrier for it. Yeah. So it's in my genetic code.
If you really go in detail, it should show some.
Yes. So theoretically, in the genetic code, you're going to find it somewhere.
Right.
Now, again, theoretically, this means with CRISPR or any other modality, I should be able to remove that bad, basically gene code and remove it with something else. And this is where gene editing becomes so sexy for humans.
There will be regulatory taking care of this. I don't know, regulatory things come after the whole thing has happened.
Of course.
And destroyed. And then they want to come
Let's
and
build
fix
stuff now. Things are gone.
Okay, this is for you, this is for me. And
have you heard about that story in China?
Which one?
So CRISPR, where we're talking about it. So there was a Chinese scientist.
They tried something.
He tried it.
On the baby.
Yes, that was the story. This went crazy, I remember, a couple of years back. Yeah. But this shows you the extent of, what mad scientists can do.
It's crazy.
And the business of it. Because if you're a pioneer in that space, imagine the hype that you're going to get.
Yeah, it's goosebumps whenever I...
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like really trying it on human beings. Come on.
Yeah. People is like, we should have someone like a cricketer or a football player who plays like, the Ronaldo thing.
Yeah.
So do you consider yourself as an entrepreneur or a businessman?
More of a businessman.
Okay.
I feel that the entrepreneur word is really, really abused, as I told you. And
yes.
I don't really mind when people call me an entrepreneur. But for me personally, an entrepreneur is somebody look, for me, I'm all for profit, but also building actual valuable things for my customers. And for me, I think being a businessman is more of a superset for the word entrepreneur. I have other values than just being an entrepreneur. And look, we started this business because we want to make money and we also want to bring value to other customers. And so I'm still sticking with that sentence, that phrase.
Which is clear.
Yeah.
Which is clear. Not like everyone says, okay, I want to help people and this is my context.
We're for profit, but we have values that we live by. By the way, we're very selective. So most of our customers know that we don't work with a lot of them the second we're done because we have bad experiences. For some other potential customers, we say, I mean, hands down, we're not going to work with you.
Really?
We don't like your direction. We say it all the time. We're very selective. And I think it's a very powerful
Which
thing.
brings for me to ask about your vision for yourself and
Yes.
for your business.
Yeah. So as an AI business, I would really love to create cool products and services that have a lot of impact on humanity. It's not cliche, but I want to really build something valuable for other people. I'm a programmer, by
Profession, yeah.
yeah, by craft, and for me, building things is really a state of mind. It's a beautiful craft, to make things that are useful to other people. And AI for me is the gateway to doing that. Because I'll tell you what, like with AI, we can now work with problems and build solutions for other problems that we never had hands on. For example, if you ever looked into this new startup by, not really startup, this business by Elon Musk. If you ever heard about Neuralink, this company that tries to understand your, basically, your neural activity in the mind, and then it tries to get you a sort of an app plus device in order to deal with your
really, I'm interested in that because it's opening up to heart issues also. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Electromagnetic stuff.
Exactly, spot on. So when I got into this part of I wanted to really know the kind of problems that we're trying to solve, with that kind of technology. I figured out that a lot of people are not fortunate to have, the kind of facilities that we have. We have both hands, we have both legs, we got, the ability to speak, we have the ability to format sentences, we can see with both eyes. Not everyone is fortunate to have the full setup, okay?
Right.
And so bridging the gap really requires that we understand human behavior. Human structure, brain structure, brain activity and such. Right. And so machine learning is really proper for that. It works really magic.
Interesting.
And so when you have devices like EEG, ECG connected to your body, and you get those signals, you probe them, you begin to understand using machine learning how to really decipher those signals and understand the gist of those. There's a great book by a guy called Ramesh Rao called The Brain-Computer Interface, I believe, which really takes you into the technology of the devices that you use within that space and the software aspect. And there's a lot of emphasis on the machine learning part, how we can really build machine learning models that can understand what those signals mean. By the way, I had this on my latest video, if you've seen it. There was a video that I had released on YouTube on brain-computer interfaces. And one of those was actually a small demo by a guy on YouTube that shows you how to use a library called OpenBCI in this product, and you can actually flip the slides on your computer just by thinking about it.
Yeah, it's
crazy, man. We're living at that age. Can you just take some time to digest that?
It's really
it works big time, man. There's no crap about it. You got to see it after a while.
Really?
So yeah, by building the right machine learning model and understanding those signals, you can translate them into actions in the machine. And then using an API and a small integration, you're good to go. You can talk to...
It makes sense, Now it makes sense. Those who making the magical stuff.
Yeah, it's not it's not too far, man. It's not too far.
We'll see the spiritual powers of the people, man. Changing things and making things.
Yeah. I always say it's always
teleporting.
Magic. It's always magic until you decipher it.
Yes.
Yeah, you understand that, it's pure science. Nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to our question, getting into that space, understanding how biology really integrates well with machine learning, it's a beautiful thing, and it gets you up in the morning because you understand the kind of products that you build might not only have profit goals in the end of the day. It might have really, good positive impact on people who are less fortunate.
Amazing, man. It's inspiring. In fact, what about Bahrain? What you have Bahrain in your mind for this?
Look, definitely, but I say it bluntly all the time.
It's global now.
I mean, global is not as easy as it sounds.
Yes.
Because the market is saturated. You have big players out there. You got giants, working in that space. I mean, how could you compete if you don't have, a chunk of cash for marketing and all of these important pillars? But generally speaking, working abroad is beautiful. Most of our customers are actually in Saudi and Kuwait, but we benchmark in Bahrain whenever we can. Because Bahrain is a very small market. You get to have results as soon as you can whenever you experiment with something. But when you're talking about profit, purchasing power,
which is Saudi.
Saudi, and I mean, hands down, Saudi
They
and
are open to
Kuwait, they have the purchasing
Like
power.
100 times. Yani.
Yeah, I mean, they have the purchasing power. You can't deny that. It's a huge, especially take Saudi, for example, especially Saudi. Saudi has the appetite to experiment with ideas now with their vision and everything. And so it's the perfect pool for you to experiment, whether you're talking about a technology or a business. Yeah.
Interesting, man. So much I can discuss, man. But we'll try to wrap up with something.
Sure.
A very simple one, inshallah. I was like, why still we are lacking in so many things, I would say, especially Bahrain. When I talk about, if you see UAE, humans are flying there. Yani. Car will fly in few years, yani. Or everything is happening in UAE, and they are doing it first. Why Bahrain is like it's delaying even drone? We don't even have the drone permission. I'm like waiting for that.
No, man,
I'll
look,
just pull it out.
I love you flying drones.
Yes.
Yeah, but look, it's a complicated web of things because governance has a lot of impact on the way you use tech.
Yes,
like
but
when
there is a way to, I think,
regulate it, of course.
Right. If you take DJI, it will not fly in airplane areas.
Of course. So, as far as I know, regulation is an ongoing thing, especially with these kind of technologies and everything. But drones,
you have to figure out, man.
Yeah, it's hard to be in this space, but you have to be a regulator. You have to discuss with the regulators how to go about it. But generally speaking, look, I'm not a big fan of PR stunts, honestly. So when you brought up Dubai, I have a lot of respect for those people there.
Yeah. What they're doing is different level.
Yeah, a different level. But there are a lot of stuff that are happening here, happening there, are pure PR stunts.
Yes.
You're getting the attention, and people get the attention.
Things are happening.
Yeah, but the gist of it is a different case. So this is my way of looking at things, especially in business. When you want to build a product, build a genuine and a really valuable product. Don't just build things on the outside that are shiny and it's empty on the inside. And a lot of people, not talking about just entrepreneurs, even products here, people die, they yearn, okay? They yearn to have their photo on social media whenever they can. Hey, and I've done that. I've done this robot. I've done this crazy flower. I've done this drone. I mean, why would you?
Happen there somewhere else, and you don't even know.
The first in Bahrain, the tallest in Bahrain. What the hell is wrong with you people? Build something useful. I mean, why would you go? Okay, is it so? I mean, it's human nature to be the fastest, the first, the biggest. So every single day you open the news and you hear somebody saying, "I'm the first to do this. I'm the first to do that." But does it work? This is the $1 million question. Does it work?
Yes.
Or you have only 30.
What happened after that?
What happens after? Did you build a business out of it, or you just kept it, to brag next to your friends and you're good to go? I mean, don't get me started.
After a few years, they will be like missing somewhere.
Yeah, man. I think there's a lot of craze on how to do things first.
I think someone like you are going to be seen as like any authority or someone who will be...
I would like to. I mean, this is why, for me, technical abilities are really key. You can't talk about AI if you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yes.
Like, really talking about the math level. Talking about the programming part, the algorithms themselves. Because I always say this to my customers and the people that I give sessions to normally. Working with tech is a lifestyle. It's not just your regular, 9 to 5. You have to maintain a lifestyle. And if you have a family, if you have commitments, it might not be the best way to go. You got to be always up to speed. Tech is changing by the second, not even by the day. You've got new frameworks, new libraries, new languages.
Absolutely.
And if you're just, disconnected for probably a week or 2 weeks, you're going to be out of the game.
You're like an alien.
Yeah, you're completely obsolete. You're going to be off the game.
Yes.
You have to resync again, and that takes its toll as well. So I completely understand when people go into the job market, they start by being technical folks, engineers, IT people, and so on. They're happy about their programming languages, and hey, Microsoft Linux, nobody cares, It's just a tool at the end of the day. Give them fast forward 10 years, they're all working in a corporate job that has nothing to do with IT.
Yes.
Because they gave up. The change is just too fast for them.
Yes. They cannot cope up, man.
Yeah.
Living in digital world and real world, this is a distinction we have to make because it's
metaverse,
mixed, man.
The metaverse.
Kind of.
Are you ready?
I'm like not able to digest the fact that movies are made on that.
Yeah.
You know, like they can feel themselves in that world.
It's getting, by the way, look, if you understand how you, and you know, of course, better than me in this, you're a bunch of sensors, honestly.
Yes.
So your consciousness just translates the kind of, signals, it just translates the kind of signals that you get from the outside. This is why talking about bionics and everything like that is just an augmentation sort of thing on top of your human brain. So you're trying to artificially understand certain things. Like if you have hearing loss, you're trying to put things trying to mimic that sort of thing and get you as close as possible to human experience. Now, if you take that and bring it to the metaverse, what you spoke about, the idea of just building the right sensors that are pretty accurate.
Wearing like a superhuman suits.
Yeah, physical. You're going to take your consciousness somewhere completely different.
It will look, and already from mind itself, someone can feel it.
Yeah.
So if signals are working on you, imagine the effect.
It's crazy, man. Like the Matrix does that, man. So this is one of the things that you got to see in the Matrix. The Matrix promotes the idea that we're not sure if we are in a simulation. And this is what Elon Musk also says. He's saying that we are in a huge simulation being run by somebody else. Now, this is discussion for a different day, but the idea that you can distinguish, you can't tell the difference of being in a simulation or you're being the real life. And that's pretty hard because you don't really know, It's just, how could you know if you have the same sensation?
Yes.
And so reproducing that sensation in this virtual metaverse world is going to be an exciting time. But also we're going to definitely... we're going to eject our humanity.
Even Avatar was one of the movies which has like question mark of like going to the another world. Things have happened and it's crazy, man.
We'll see where this goes.
Yes.
Are you excited though?
Yeah, I'm like you. Whenever I think about it, like how things are going to work, the philosophy of people, how it will change.
The relationships, work, marriage. How does it work later on?
All here, I think that's where all philosophies kind of work, maybe.
Yeah.
We never know, what is going to happen, what values are going to be shown up. And
it's going to be hard, man. I'm telling you, like, I like technology, I like things, but the atmosphere, the vibe is different every single day. We got to keep up. And the metaverse is going to open new doors for business and new doors for, problems.
I'll stay at home, man. If that is the way you can do it, because I want to do all the artwork at home and do the work from there.
You enjoy your metaverse, nobody cares. Huh?
Yes. I think some have already decided like they want to quit all the things and go somewhere out of somewhere beside the mountain or somewhere, stay somewhere else.
Meditate, and just leave the
Relax,
world.
or somewhere in the beach.
But I wouldn't really blame them, man, because I think life is complicated. I always thought that there is, like, human behavior was very straightforward. But now, being in my 30s, I can really hands down tell everybody that humans are complicated.
Yes.
I mean, whatever you do, you're going to have these complicated and weird encounters with humans, even if you're a good person. You got to have
That's where I think like all these calculations, which is going to work in the artificial intelligence, might fail.
Like humans are complicated. How do you work with you guys? How does it work?
How?
Where is your manual?
Yes. Judge might win the argument.
Yeah, man. We'll see. Pretty excited.
Pleasure, man. But I had lots. I can go on and on. I'm sure.
Me too, man. I'm
this
enjoying
area
this.
Is like I really enjoy it. I'm like excited more and more.
Sure.
So I acknowledge the way you are doing things.
Thanks.
And the commitment you have
appreciate it
for seeking some solutions for all these areas. And there is a lot. I think I'm sure. IoT is another thing, and architectural stuff.
Yes.
Everyone can go and check out his websites, and I will put the links and make sure you're following him. Every time he's posting something new, and you saw the session which we had now, and it's still giving me goosebumps. I'm trying to handle the excitement here. So I wish I can go for more, but I will try to have a rapid fire questions with you.
Go for it.
So that I can know a bit more about you. How do you want to be remembered?
Man of value.
What are you most grateful for?
Life.
How long does it take for you to, come out of anger?
3 days, maybe.
Really?
It's hard for me, man.
Really?
Complicated human being.
How about trusting people?
Trust is hard. We can't emphasize on that enough. tread carefully.
When it comes to social media influencer, who do you think is doing well and
Financially, you mean?
recommendation?
Financially, or
Your area as a tech.
a lot of people. I wouldn't do justice if I had to name one.
Okay, you can go for 3 at least. Yani.
And there's a guy called the Dahih, which has a lot of creative content. I like Vsauce as well. Man, in English, there's too many good people.
Yeah, man.
You
So
can't
much
do
there,
justice.
True, very well said.
Yeah, you're putting it on the spot, man.
So, what is the one thing that annoys you the most?
That annoys me
Besides-
the most.
Yeah, you said 3 days means imagine.
Yeah. I
Something
don't
must
like.
be annoying you.
I don't like stupidity.
Stupidity.
Yeah, we gotta transcend higher as humans.
Yes.
I don't like when people stay in the lower level. Let's say in the basement. You gotta go up whenever you can. So some people embrace stupidity as a way of life. I hate that.
How many books you have read so far? Yani?
I do read a
Must
lot,
say,
especially on my Kindle. A lot of books. I think
Which
Kindle.
one do you recommend, Yani, which has a profound effect on anybody?
Life 3.0 takes you. You don't have to be a technical person. It shows you what's going to happen when a man and machine live together in a very articulate and very realistic way.
Wow.
Yeah, because he's not just a writer, he's also a technical person. So he tries to get it as close as possible to your imagination.
Life 3.0.
Yes, 3.0 by Max Tegmark.
So, what new technology will transform the future?
Do you want me to be biased? No, I'm not going to say the cliche AI thing. I would really think that BCI is the key to survival. Brain-computer interface is essentially the way...
I like the subject because
Yeah.
I want to really study on that also
Yeah.
because that's where even Steve Jobs came up saying
yes.
about it.
If we can extract our consciousness somehow, if that is even possible, and get it on a machine, this means living forever. We're no longer, limited by our biological limitations.
What are the 3 skills you would like to learn?
To learn,
Yeah.
drumming. I know a bit, but not too much. Not to the extent that I couldn't call myself a drummer.
Okay.
I'd like to. I sing, but I really want to sing super well. I want to growl, I want to growl, and I think also I want to fly. I want to learn how to fly airplanes.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the sky.
Pilot, you can take the
Yeah.
pilot license.
Yeah,
I heard private license can be done, Yani.
Yeah, but I would really try it. I mean, not just for the sake of it, really use hey, I'm gonna go to my mom's, go there.
So when I say happiness, what comes to your mind?
Solitude, being fulfilled, emotionally, experience-wise.
You're more philosophical, but technological. Also.
It's just the shell of it. Huh?
It's good. So, what makes you smile?
A good joke.
I'm not good joker, man. Quality of life or quantity of life?
Definitely quality.
Yeah. Politics?
Not a fan.
Money?
Very important to manage that. It's a very important tool. It's a good tool, however, it has a very bad rep.
When are you most productive?
At night.
Oh, you're
12
night
a.m.
guy.
till 3 a.m.
Really?
Yes, when it's all just silence.
The whole world is sleeping. and
Yeah,
you're-
the kids are sleeping, my wife is sleeping, and I'm just
okay.
me and my machine, me and my loved ones.
Interesting. Getting old?
It's harder to swallow. It's very hard to swallow. The idea that we're gonna deteriorate with time is something I had to really spend some time agreeing with.
What makes you feel alive?
Playing music, not listening, playing music on stage. It's a different feeling.
Interesting.
Where the amplifier just moves you.
Great, man. And at last, how was this interview?
Man, I love you, man.
was
Thanks for doing this.
conversation.
I had a
Yes.
great conversation. Thanks for taking me out of my tech shell, even though I feel that I came back to it.
Okay.
But I mean, it's great to have a regular, conversation. Yes,
this
that
conversation.
very
That's why I
casual.
don't get into too much of like interview kind of thing.
Yeah, just be yourself. Just casual stuff. I'm enjoying the content, you know.
Those who are watching also enjoy that. And,
Yeah, casual is always the best. Even in my sessions, for me, look, the corporate field has its own different time, but when you deal with different people, I mean, you wanna the message is what really matters at the end of the day. And most of those people, they wanna touch base on the casual channel. Just stay casual, get your message there, and just leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best way, Annie. Thank you so much, and
My
it was
pleasure.
great session with you.
Thank you,
Annie.
Kazi.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it, man.
much.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you sharing this content anywhere possible, with the friends and wherever you can possible. And I'm grateful to Brother Ameen, who has come all the way to this office humble studio of mine, and gave so much of information, which is more than information for me, because it has like brought the chills in me, and you won't believe, like, I enjoyed the session today.